morning, anyone that's joining us now. Thank you very much for joining us. We're just starting live with the webinar for from ATC for Living English with regards to the Demi-pair program. It's just on 10 o'clock, so we'll have a couple of minutes just waiting for a few people to come in as you can see some people coming in. So you're all very welcome to join us this morning. So I'm here from a very sunny Dublin. So we've got some sunshine as we go towards the May bank holiday that we've got here in Ireland. So I suppose it's good morning. We're just on 10 o'clock here in Ireland. So thank you very much for joining us from wherever you are. So hopefully the sun is shining as well with you. So it'll be very nice to see who's joining us. Where are you joining us from this morning? Pop your name, where you're coming from in the chat box. We'd love to see and see where you're all joining us from this morning. So we're just going to wait another minute or two before starting, just to allow a few more people to come in, and then we'll get going with the important information that you're all here for. Wonderful. So do pop in the chat box where you're coming from and where you're joining us from this morning. I do say this morning, I suppose some people may be joining us from different parts of the world, which we'd love to hear from you. So we're just a few minutes after 10. So I think we'll start and just go through a bit of information. We'll start and then I'll hand over to Aoife. So say good morning. We're coming from you, or I'm coming from you, from a very sunny Dublin in Ireland. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Louise from ATC Language Schools. And you're all very welcome to join us to learn more about a very exciting program from Living English. As you know, ATC, or you may or may not know, ATC recently acquired locally based Irish agency called Living English. And the key program Living English focus on is the Demi-pair program, which we're very pleased to introduce you to today. So I'll hand you over to Aoife. Aoife is the Demi-pair program manager. And before I do, so a couple of things. So if anyone has any questions, please pop them in the Q&A section. So there's a Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. So pop any questions through the presentation in there. And we'll try and, some of the questions may be answered as we go through the presentation, but also we'll try and get to any questions at the end of the session. We also have one of Living English's partner agencies with us here as a panelist. Felicitas from Experiment, who will be able to address some questions as well towards the end. So morning, Felicitas.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, nice to be here. Hey.
So we're planning for around 25 to 30 minutes for the Demi-pair information to go through what the Demi-pair program is, the process, and then we'll allow some time for questions, just to give you an idea of this morning. So with that said, I'm going to hand you over to Aoife now. If anyone has any questions at all through the presentation, pop them into the Q&A and we'll have a look at that later. Thank you very much. Over to Aoife.
Thank you, Louise, and good morning to everybody. I'm delighted to be here this morning and to present to you Living English as Demi-pair Program Information. So I'm going to share my screen with you now and go through the presentation I've prepared for you here today. So, yes. So Living English, the Demi-pair program, our website is livingenglish.ie. And if you want to reach out afterwards for any program information, the email address is info@livingenglish.ie as well. As as you may or may not know, well, Louise had just mentioned there about ATC acquiring Living English, and that means that we're now part of the extended UKLC education group, where we are promoting and advertising programs for young learners and adults all across Ireland and the UK. So Living English is really delighted to be part of the extended UKLC education group. This Demi-pair program information is divided into 3 sections: the program information, the application process, and then the 3rd stage is about life at ATC language schools. So Living English. Well, Living English was actually established over approximately 25 years ago in 2000. And the purpose of this program is that it's a fully immersion type program where students get to live and learn English in a family home. They're provided with full board accommodation in exchange for 20 hours childcare and light household duties, plus 2 nights babysitting per month. On top of that, the program also, excuse me, includes the English language immersion at ATC language schools. So they attend internationally mixed language schools, learning English in the morning times in either the Dublin or the Bray Centre. The Demi-pair program itself is an all-inclusive package. So it includes the accommodation, includes the course, it includes the placement with a carefully selected family, it includes the return airport transfers, it includes the travel card for students to use while they're here in Dublin or Bray, it includes access to the e-learning platform, the full immersion of the family home, full board accommodation in exchange for the 20 hours childcare plus 2 nights babysitting per month. Then the students have the language immersion in the internationally mixed language classes at ATC Dublin or Bray. It's an all-inclusive package, so it includes the accommodation, the course, the placement, airport transfers, travel card, e-learning platform, and the social activity program. The Demi-pair program is available all year round. From September to May, the academic year, the minimum length of stay is 12 weeks. The minimum age is 18. And then in the summertime, June, July, and August, the minimum length of stay is 8 weeks and the minimum age is 9. All participants must have a minimum of B1 intermediate spoken English. And the reason we request this is so that the participants can fully understand the needs of the families where they're helping out with the children and in the family home, and they can follow instruction very easily and readily. The Demi-pair families. So our families are located all across the Dublin area and the Bray area. They're carefully selected by Living English. They're visited personally by us, and they're also Garda vetted, which means police vetted. In order to be a Demi-pair family, you must be located within 1 hour door-to-door commute from your family home to either ATC Dublin in Dublin City Centre and South William Street, or to ATC in Bray on the seafront. The Demi-pair families provide the Demi-pairs with their own single room and full board accommodation. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included every day throughout their stay, their own bedroom, and in most cases, they're sharing the family bathroom And in some instances, they may have their own private bathroom, depending on the household. There are no bills like heat, electricity, Wi-Fi, internet. They're all included in the family home. The Demi-pair family also provides the Demi-pair with a monthly leap card. And many of you who work with ATC language schools would know that the leap card, especially for mini-state students, is the card that's used for traveling on the buses, on the trams, on the local trains, in and out to Dublin city centre. So the Demi-pairs have this card from day one, where they can use to travel in and out to school every day, Monday to Friday, and they can use at the weekends to socialize with their friends. The Demi-pair families also provide the airport transfers. So they collect the Demi-pair on arrival to Dublin Airport, and then they bring them back on their departure date as well. For each of our families that we have as part of Living English, we have their own separate family profile. And these profiles are shared with our agents at the time of when we're placing our applicants. And these profiles have photographs, detailed information about our family, and then a photograph of the family home, of the family, of the Demi-pair bedroom, bathroom, the Google Map area and location, and it's quite a fully comprehensive profile. So the Demi-pair candidate really gets to know and understand the family they're going to be placed with in advance of the placement. I'm going to go through the placement process in shortly in my next part. Many agencies who are looking at putting the Demi-pair program on their portfolio often ask, what's the difference between an au pair and a Demi-pair? And the differences are quite straightforward. As an au pair, you are full-time in a family home. You sometimes are paid for your work, or you may be given pocket money. Whereas with a Demi-pair, the French word demi, meaning half, means you're split between half of your time in the family home and half of your time in a language school. So this half is like 20 hours in the family home of the childcare, usually Monday to Friday, with two nights babysitting throughout the month, and then 10 or 20 hours of an English language course at ATC language schools. There's no money exchanged between the Demi-pair family and the Demi-pair candidate. It's more like an exchange of services. So the family provides the full board accommodation with all of the meals, heat, electricity, Wi-Fi, and then the Demi-pair provides 20 hours childcare, minding their children, collecting them from school, etc. I'm going to go through certain duties in a moment. This program is very beneficial for everyone because it gives time and space to everybody involved. It gives time to the family, it gives time to the Demi-pair to get out, go to school in the morning, make new friends, interact with people from all over the world, and then it allows people to to then be together as a family in the evening times. It's a fantastic opportunity for Demi-pairs to grow a social network, which is not always the case as an au pair. Whereas with the Demi-pairs, they're immediately in a class with other students, similar ages, making new friends, joining the activity program. The Demi-pair duties, these are examples of the types of duties they would do throughout their 20 hours per week in the family home. So the childcare duties, that's a minimum of 10 hours. And that could be collecting children from school, preparing light snacks, homework supervision, bringing them outside for walks, doing indoor or outdoor activities, a morning routine or a bedtime routine, helping out with the family. Then the light housework duties can be vacuuming, ironing, sweeping, mopping floors, making beds, washing, hanging out clothes, food preparation, some cooking, emptying the dishwasher, those kind of things. Just an extra pair of hands to help with the family household to run their daily lives. The duties do not include heavy cleaning of bathrooms or windows. They're not here to be hired as a cleaner. They're here to come over to learn about what it's like living in a family home, minding children, supervising them, assisting them, and then helping the household to move swiftly throughout their day. This is a sample timetable that I share with all of our demi-pairs in advance of their arrival. And then I also give them a blank canvas where I ask them to sit down with the family in week one, bring it back to me by Friday of week one with their kind of schedule. So everybody knows what they're doing Monday to Friday. So as a sample, this is what some of the demi-pairs may be doing. In the morning times, for example, they might be helping with getting the children ready for school, putting the lunch in the lunch boxes, getting their coats on, out to the car, or even walking them to school. Then the demi-pairs themselves get up and get out to school, and they're in ATC from 9 o'clock. If they're doing the 10-hour option, they're in classes from 9 to 11. If they're doing the 20-hour option, they're in classes from 9 to 1:30. Then afternoons, they're back in the family home. And this is where the majority of the demi-pair work takes place. They're either collecting children from creche or from school. They're helping with emptying the dishwasher, getting snacks ready or preparing food for the dinner. They might be hanging out the clothes. They might be sitting down with the children, supervising the children. Even since COVID, we have a lot of families where there might be one parent working from home and the children just need to be supervised so that parent can continue with their work. They might be bringing them out. They might bring them to swimming lessons or horse riding lessons or different activities that the children might have. And then in the evening time, the families all tend to sit together and have meals unless the children are younger and they need to have their meals before the family time meals. And then bedtime routine, might be bath time, getting children ready for bed, washing their teeth, putting them into bed, singing them lullabies, whatever it is. There's many different possibilities depending on the ages and the children. So then at the end of the week, the demi-pair has had 10 or 20 hours of language lessons at ATC, and then 20 hours of childcare, and then the 2 nights babysitting is throughout the month, which means then that weekends are free. So during their weekends, they're free to explore, they're free to socialize, they can join ATC's social activity program either. The 2 nights babysitting, they could be nighttime or they could be afternoons, and they're usually decided a week or 2 weeks in advance so that the demi-pairs can plan their own weekends themselves as well. And with that, I mentioned about the ATC social activity program. So every weekend, the demi-pairs have a chance to go on an amazing excursions to Glendalough, up to Belfast, the Cliffs of Moher, over to Galway, to Kilkenny, to Wicklow. Some of the demi-pairs that are here are absolutely having a fantastic time. And we do encourage everybody to participate on the social activity programs. We also organise party sessions, and that's where one-to-one, in person, we sit down and we have tea and biscuits in Dublin or in Bray. And it's a good way for the demi-pairs to all meet together, because some of the demi-pairs, the minimum level is intermediate level. So we could have demi-pairs in intermediate level classes, upper intermediate level classes, and advanced classes. And at these party sessions, all of the demi-pairs from the different classes all come together. We sit down, we have tea, normally green tea. A lot of people like green tea from Europe, biscuits and a chat. It's also an opportunity for the demi-pairs to let me know how they're getting on, for new demi-pairs to learn, how things are in Dublin and in Bray. And it's really nice to do this with the demi-pairs, and they quite enjoy it. So the second part of this presentation is about the demi-pair application process. And for many new agents, or I don't necessarily mean new agents, but many agents who may now be deciding to put the demi-pair product on their portfolio, this part is very, very important to understand, because it is a lengthy process. It's not like booking a language course where you book the course and you get confirmation within 24, 48 hours. There's a 3-step process to the application, and it takes approximately 3 months. So the first step is with the agency yourselves. And this is where you need to prepare a detailed Demi-pair application in English. So we have a list of 8 or 9 different documents that we require as part of the application. And it takes the agency approximately 3 to 4 weeks to put all of this together. And it's, for example, it can be the candidate's CV in English, their letter of introduction in English, 2 childcare references in English. I'm going to go through it now in a moment. I have it on another slide. And it does take time, the police clearance, etc. The step two is the application being received into Living English from the agency. And then once we receive that application and we have all of the elements, we cannot proceed until we have all of the elements of the application. Then we start with the matching with a potential family. And that can take 6 to 8 weeks as well. And I'm going to go through that stage in a moment as well. And then the final stage is the booking confirmation, where all of the files and invoices are sent to the agency. And that takes approximately 1 to 2 weeks. So overall, the whole process takes about 3 months. So step 1, as I mentioned, these are the list of documents that we require from an agent in order to start our process at Living English. So some of our agents that have been working with us for many, many years, and we have Felicitas from Experiment who's been here with us for 15 years, and she might go through some of these elements as well. They would have their own recruitment processes. They may have webinars, they might have introduction, they would have interviews with candidates, etc., etc. So whatever the agency processes are, as well as then our Living English application form, the Dear Family letter in English with a photo collage, your CV in English, your childcare references in English, your English language qualification, evidence of this, whether it's from the agency assessment or whether it's from a certificate that they have, their medical certificate, their police clearance, the European health insurance card or insurance if they're coming from a non-EU country, evidence of deposit paid to the agency to make sure that you have the right candidate and they are serious about this, and then the signed Living English terms and conditions. Step 2, once we've received all of those documents in English to our portfolio, to our filing system, then we start our processes and procedures. We place it on the booking file. We start contacting potential Demi-pair families. We share the application with potential families. If there's a family that's interested, they let me know. Then I go back to the agency. I forward the family profile to the agency, and the agency lets the Demi-pair candidate know that we have this family interested. And then the next step is the first online video call. And that's directly between the Demi-pair applicant and the family. After this video call, and it's with either the host mum or the host dad. After this video call, we then get feedback. I get feedback from my family. The agent gets feedback from the Demi-pair candidate. If both parties are happy, then we proceed to the booking stage. If one party isn't happy, and sometimes that can happen, then we start the process all over again. And we start looking for another family, and then we forward the next family profile to the agency so they can set up the next video call. And then the third step, if it is a successful match, the third step is the fastest step. Because this is where we confirm the course with ATC, whether it's the 10 hours or the 20 hours, or if it's an examination preparation course. Then we request the agency, we inform the agency to let the Demi-pair look for their flights, and we look for their flight details, so that once we get the flight details from the agency, we can then check with our family if the timing is right for them to collect them. Then we start putting all of the documents together, the welcome pack, and the sample profile, the sample program, and we send everything to the agents. We send them the booking confirmation and the booking invoices, and then once the invoices is paid, we send the welcome pack to the Demi-pair candidate, to the host family, and to the agency as well. We can put the agency in copy. We also send an invitation to the Demi-pair to join our Demi-pair WhatsApp group so that they can then interact with other Demi-pairs, and we can share the invitation to the parties, which is a great opportunity for new Demi-pairs to meet people straight away within a couple of weeks of their arrival. And then finally, we send them the timetable, like I showed you previously, where they can fill out the blank page, the blank spaces themselves, and then send back into me. And at least then we all know what each candidate is doing for their 20 hours. And if anything changes, we can always go back to that and look at that and see if there's anything we need to do. So now I'm just moving on to the third part, and I am delighted that I'm keeping to my time with my silent timer, as recommended by Louise earlier this morning. Thank you, Louise. So yes, ATC Language Schools, this is where it all happens in the school. And this photograph here are of 3 of our most recent Demi-pairs that have graduated and were absolutely fabulous: Leonie, Ava and Marianne. And I'm so happy that I've had the opportunity to meet with them. I absolutely love the Demi-pairs. They're fantastic young ladies, and they really, really embrace their time here. And what's really, really good for them is that straight away from day one, like they're arriving at the weekend, Saturday or Sunday with the family, then on Monday morning, they're straight into school and they're straightly involved with all of the other students. As you can see here in March in ATC, there was so many different nationalities from China, Brazil, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, Turkey, Chile, Japan, Mexico, and the other ones include some of our Demi-pairs, Italian, Belgium, and it's so nice for them to be exposed to so many different cultures. We have a fantastic student welfare officer and student activity leader, Talita, who organises so many amazing activities for the students every single month, for St. Patrick's Day, for Easter, for Halloween. And we also celebrate many global festivals like Carnival and, different festivals that have great cultural importance. ATC is an absolutely fantastic school. It was established, as many of you know, in 1973. So 52 years in operation now, fully accredited language school, really high academic standards, really good standards in every other area as well, with accommodation, student welfare, academic team, the administration team, really well supported. The Demi-pair students are in both Dublin and in Bray. And like I mentioned, the students can do the 10-hour program. That's only available for the Demi-pairs. Traditionally, it's 20 hours that all other students would do in the school in the morning times and 15 hours in the afternoons. But for the Demi-pair, we focus on the 10 hours or the 20 hours in Dublin and Bray. There is the option of doing the Cambridge preparation or IELTS examination preparation courses as well. And then, as I mentioned, joining the social activity program. As you may know, in ATC in Dublin, we have the 17 classrooms right in the city centre, just 2 minutes walk from St. Stephen's Green, which is fantastic for students who are coming in on the DART, on the tram, by buses. It has everything that English language student could look for in terms of technology in the classroom. They have access to an e-learning platform where they can look at everything and they can book their social activities and everything else like that. If they're off sick, they can let their teachers know different things. The platform is a fantastic tool to use. And then the e-learning platform, they can have access to that even up to 3 months after they go home. In Bray, it's quite a beautiful scenic coastal town, just 25 kilometres south of Dublin. And here our school is on the seafront. Same idea, great technology in the classroom, fantastic social activity programme, and only 30 to 45 minutes to Dublin City. And now we go on to the Living English fees and terms for agents, part 4. So this just shows an example of our agency information. I do have the 2025 gross and net rates available to all agents. I've sent them to some of the participants so far. If anybody else requires them, send me an email to info@livingenglish.ie and I can forward them over to you. And this just shows you the typical 20-hour program in Dublin or in Bray. And these are the gross amounts for 8 up to 36 weeks. We do have a variety of different weeks options available. The most common option during the academic year is 12 weeks because that is the minimum. But we do often have candidates coming for 6 months and some coming for 9 months. And to be perfectly honest, this really suits the families because they do like when the demi-pairs can stay long term in order so that they get to know the children and that there's not too much changes every few weeks with the demi-pairs. So that's why we have the minimum of 12 weeks, but we do have 16, 18, 20, 24 weeks, 40 weeks even sometimes. And what our package includes, it includes the placement fee, it includes airport transfers, includes full board accommodation, the unlimited travel pass, the English lessons, whether they're booking the 10 or 20 hours, the registration fee, the course certificate. What it doesn't include is the summer supplement, the course textbook, an e-learning fee, and the examination fees and textbook. And they're all available on our price list. Oh, and I forgot to say, that what Living English offers, we offer 20% on the full package. Now, agencies that are familiar with the Demi-pair program, they would have their own agency fees to their clients before they come to cover their application process. And then once they come to us, we offer the 20% on the gross full package price. And then if you're to compare a traditional course and family host accommodation to the Demi-pair program, in a traditional approach, like if you had a client looking to come over do a language course and to look for accommodation, they would have to pay for the accommodation separately. They'd have to pay for the accommodation placement fee, the airport transfers separately, the local travel cards separately, and then the course, the fees are applied as well. In the Demi-pair program, it's all included, the accommodation, the placement, the transfers, the travel pass, and then they're paying for the course and it's all inclusive package. But when you compare both, clients can save up to 350 euros per week by choosing a Demi-pair program. But you do need to make sure that you have the right candidate because the families are quite particular. And so that application in the very beginning is extremely important. And yes, so if anybody would like me to send you the agency agreement, agency prices, or Living English materials, please feel free to email me info@livingenglish.ie or send me a WhatsApp to +353 87 448 0799. And yes, these are just some testimonials from our Living English demi-pairs in the past. I do have to say that it's a pleasure working on this program. I love meeting the demi-pair candidates. They really, really embrace their program here. And it's a huge benefit to everybody who's involved. It's a huge benefit to the demi-pair candidates to come over here, to live in a family home, to go to school, to make friends. It's a massive benefit for the families to have that extra pair of hands, to have that assistance in a busy family household. It's a huge benefit to ATC language schools to have these amazing young ladies in the classrooms in Dublin and Bray for a minimum of 12 weeks up to 24 weeks throughout the year. And then it's fantastic for the agents, for you as agents to be able to have to earn commission on this program and to be able to have good, satisfied customers coming here and enjoying themselves and having the accommodation, having the time with the families, learning about Irish children and children in general, and embracing the nationality mix across the with the ATC language schools. So that's it. I've come to the end to the question and answer session. I'll stop sharing my screen here now, and And yes, we'll open the floor to any questions. Louise, maybe you might mention if there's any questions there in the chat that anybody would like to share. And then also we have Felicitas here. If any agents have any questions, you want to pop into the question and answer chat button now, and Felicitas will be more than happy to answer them for you too. So thank you very much to everybody for your attention.
Thanks so much, Aoife. That was really useful, really good information. Hopefully a very clear overview about the Demi-pair program. We do have lots of great questions actually, so we'll try and go through all of them. A couple of questions that hopefully I answered already just quickly was regarding single rooms, which Aoife mentioned they would have, the students would, or the demi-pairs would have single rooms in the families. So we'll go, I'll start from the beginning. So Maria Louisa, hello. Do the students need to take a level test or do we ask for an official certification? Aoife.
So, well, we do leave the onus of responsibility with the agency to assess their English language level. However, if you're unsure, we can send you a link for the ATC language placement test, the online placement test. And I've also made an arrangement with the ATC Director of Studies where we can do a speaking test if needed, because obviously that's what's quite critical, that we do have the correct level of spoken English of our candidates so that they can understand. So one, you can either do the assessment as an agent, or you can I can send you a online assessment link that you can share with your candidate, and we'll get the result of that. And then thirdly, I can also set up a speaking test if necessary. So they're the three options with the placement test before their applicant comes through.
Lovely. So Idoya's been in touch. Hello, Idoya. So do the demi-pair need a driving license?
Good morning, Doya. Lovely to have you here with us. Actually, it's not a requirement for demi-pairs to have a driver's license. However, there are some families on our database that do require demi-pairs to have driver's licenses. So when I get applicants in, I do tend to, the applicants that have the driver's license, I do tend to put them aside to and have the families in mind that do require the driver's licenses, because that's really important for them, for that particular family. However, like saying that, majority of our families are like door to door, within 1 hour to the school, and there's the public transport system in Dublin is quite good with trams, buses, local trains, local rail, and so the demi-pairs utilize that. But there's some of my families like in Bray, and there's one or two in Dublin where they've asked specifically for the demi-pair candidates to have driver's licenses, and that's where those that do, I place them with those particular families.
Lovely. So it's not essential, but some families do like to have that as a requirement. So we've got quite a few questions coming in now, Aoife. So lots of interest. So for people outside of the EU, got a question here from Takahashi Wilson Midori, who I believe works with Japanese students. One of our partners. So is it possible for students outside of the EU to get a European health insurance card? And then, which I believe the answer to that is no. They do have to be European citizens, EU citizens. And then the alternative option for that. Would you recommend?
Okay, so I probably need to update that particular slide, because I did mention the European Health Insurance Card. The reason being, majority of our candidates, I've just been at a recent workshop where majority of the agents there were actually European. But for non-EU students, you would have to have proof of medical insurance. And that is something that we can organise through HEC language schools, or even some agencies organise that themselves. So I can give you some information on that afterwards. No problem at all.
Wonderful. Hanella, good morning, Hanella. Do we accept male demi-pair?
Now, we don't discriminate against male demi-pairs. I do have a male demi-pair candidate on my desk at this moment in time. I did have one at the start of the year that unfortunately I didn't get to place, and I'm working on this one right now. It's not very, very common. Over the last 25 years, Living English has had 3 male demi-pairs. And since I've started here since last December, I've had 2 applicants, but I haven't had any successful placements. I did do a survey with all of our demi-pair families to ask them this very specific question, because I do have agents asking me this all of the time. And the results of the survey, over half of the families that did come back to me, they actually did say that they would consider a male demi-pair candidate if it was suitable. However, in reality, when I contacted those families with my first original candidate, none of them were available. Either got to do with timing or there were other applicants that they wanted to look at. So it's not that we say no, but I would say it's very, very difficult. It's not very, very common. I'm having difficulties with it, but I'm still trying to keep an open mind, and I'm currently working on one at the moment, and we'll just have to see if that goes. So I might ask even Felicitas to give me some she may have some feedback on this as well, Felicitas, on demi-pair male applicants that you may be familiar with, or your experience with it over the years.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's mostly what you say, that it's from the family side, that they are not familiar to have males helping with childcare or in the household. I mean, it might be still quite a traditional point of view, but yeah, I mean, that's what we have when we work with the family. So we can't change them, you know. I mean, I would like to place male demi-pairs too, but the reality is that we have very few boys interested in this program, so it's mostly girls that are interested, and so that's fine for us for now. I mean, it would be great to have boys in Ireland in the future too.
Mhm. Okay, thanks, Felicitas.
Lovely, thanks so much. So we have a question from Mayel from Belgium. How much is the Leap Card accommodation and meals worth? So I think we had a look at that. Was that on the?
Yeah, well, the Leap Card, like it works out to be about 40 to 50 euros per week. So let's just say 50, 4 weeks would be 200. The accommodation, host family accommodation is 295 euros per week for half board during the week and full board at weekend. So that's about 300 a week. So 3 fours, that's 1200 plus what did I say? 1200 plus the 200. So you're talking about 1400 euros a month for your accommodation. And well, even a little bit more, because with host family accommodation, your lunch isn't included Monday to Friday. Your breakfast and your dinner is. So you'd have to be paying for your lunches as well. And lunches in Ireland are 10 to 15 euros or more. So yeah, about the 1500 euros a month, I'd say.
Lovely. So I have a couple of questions here from Audrey Montali in Italy. Hello there. So a couple of questions. How many families do we have between Bray and Dublin? You know, that's
Well, we currently have 394 families on our database, but that's over the years. And annually we'd work between 80 to 100 families annually. And then we're bringing on new families. There's a huge recruitment taking place in the month of May for September arrivals. Out of that, about 20% are based around Bray and 80% in Dublin. However, because Dublin is so close to Bray, we have some of our Dublin families cater for students going to either Dublin or Bray because, for example, like Blackrock in Dublin, it's 30 to 35 minutes to get from Blackrock door to door to ATC language schools in Dublin city centre. And equally, it's 30 to 35 minutes door to door to get from Blackrock to Bray. So while the population of Dublin, it's the capital city, is much bigger than Bray, the infrastructure is quite good, and so we have Dublin families that we can utilize for either Dublin or Bray, and that's how it's worked out so well for us.
Lovely. So the other question Audrey had was about a 10-hour course. Is that available in both Dublin and Bray ATC schools?
Yes, it is. The 10-hour course is quite popular. We have it in Dublin, we have it in Bray, the morning option. And yeah, we have the 20-hour option also available in Dublin and Bray.
Marvelous. So we have a couple of questions here from Elena Lemmy. So asking about the minimum requirements for citizens from outside of the EU. So do they have to take the general English course of 20 hours a week? Are there a minimum number of weeks?
Yes, well, they would have, depending on which country they're coming from, there are different options. Sometimes, like, they could come on as a tourist visa and they're attending a course at their own leisure. If they're coming over on a study and work visa, then they would need to do a minimum of 20 hours and for a minimum of 25 weeks. As this program is a Demi-pair program, it's not considered a work program. There's no fees exchanged between the family and the Demi-pair candidate. However, if the Demi-pair does want to come over for the 25 weeks, they would need to do a minimum study of the 20 hours.
Lovely. So that would also, if I can just add to that, that might also vary depending on where the demi-pairs are coming from with regards to their entry requirements and a couple of other things. So I suppose that could be something that we can get in touch with and have a bit more information on about, depending where they're from. Another question from Elena actually is if the demi-pairs are entitled to holiday time after finishing the program.
Well, yes. What demi-pairs? What we do is if we allow the demi-pairs to come over for 1 or 2 weeks in advance of their course starting, if that suits the family, and to stay for 1 or 2 weeks after the course finishes, if that suits the family. Because the Demi-pair program is all got to do with the family that's available and the dates that they're available. In some situations, I've had requests from Demi-pairs where they wished to have a week's holidays during their 25 weeks, for example. So in that situation, we need to check, is that okay with the family? Is that okay with the school? If it is, we organise it, and it generally is. We had a student who had a week's holidays at Easter, and there's added their extra week then to their length of stay at the end. So yes, so that's possible as well.
Lovely. Jumping ahead a little bit, just to another question, a little bit related to that from Idoya with regards to students applying for a visa on this program, for example, students from Latin America. Is that a possibility?
Yes, like over the years, we've had one student from Mexico here, so they would come from Latin America, and as long as they would book the 20-hour General English program, then they would be able to access the Demi-pair program. Now, we need to just double check a few different things with ILAP and such as that, because the Demi-pair isn't classified as a study and work, but it is classified as, if they, I guess, well, there's a couple of things I just want to clarify on that for you, because we haven't had it yet since I've started here. So I just want to make sure I give you the correct information. But there is a strong interest from Latin America. And I guess with having so many students from Latin America in Ireland already, a lot of families are very familiar with students from all over the world, and so I think they would be warmly welcomed into family homes as well, as long as they're the suitable candidate for the program.
Lovely. I think if I can elaborate on that a little bit as well, then Aoife, is so for some non-EU countries, like you were saying earlier, they can travel on a tourist visa and stay for up to 90 days. So that would be the 12 weeks. There isn't really any course requirements for that. But if they were staying on a longer visa, a study visa, and or the study and work visa, then the minimum number of hours, I believe it's more course related. So the minimum number of hours that they need to take as a course would be minimum 15 hours. We can work with each of our partners. Aoife will be able to sort of look at each request individually, sort of further down the line, as and when you have requests, and looking at sort of the different requirements individually for students outside of the EU. But it would be primarily, if it's based on a study visa or a study and work visa, it would be dependent on the course that's chosen. So going up, Monica. Good morning, Monica. So Monica and also Laura was asking about a maximum age. So we have minimum ages at different times, but maximum ages. Do you have any guidance on that, Aoife?
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting. We were just speaking about this earlier on this morning as well. The maximum age ideally would be 26. And even saying that, that is still a little bit in the older age bracket. And it can be difficult to place students at the age of 26. I've been finding that myself recently. So I do think that the recommended age group for this program is like 20 to 24 is ideal, because from 18 up to 24, really, the 18-year-olds are fine throughout the academic year if they're well guided in advance by their agents before they come over and they fully understand the program. A lot of my families look for 20-year-olds. They come to me and say, we want a mature young adult. We want someone who's 20, in their early 20s, 20, 21, 22. And so I've found that age group works the best. So 22, 23, 24 maximum. Now, saying that, I've had one demi-pair who's currently here who's 26, and the family absolutely love her. But I do have another demi-pair that I'm finding difficulty placing, and she's in around that age group. And I think my families are not saying exactly why, but I think it might be the age, because I think the young adults are very they just blend very well into the family. They want to assist the family and all of that. And I think that works really well. Felicitas, I might just call you in here on that as well, with your experience from Experiment. What is the age group that works well, minimum and maximum ages?
In general, I would agree with you, but most of our participants, I would say, are 18 because they just finished school, and yeah, they love to do a gap year and do the Demi-pair program. So yeah, we have many that are 18 or 19 years old, and yeah, it still works well, really. And of course, it's an advantage if they are already 20 and got some more experience, or even when they study some social work or to become a teacher. Of course, that helps, but still, it's possible, yeah, when they're 18 or 19 years old.
And the maximum age?
Oh, yeah, the maximum. Well, what we have on our homepage is maximum 30 or 29, but we very rarely have demi-pairs that are in that age. So yeah, the maximum is like 26, what you say, and this would be when they already finished studying and then decide to do a demi-pair program. Yeah, or when they are between bachelor and master studies, or yeah, want to take a gap year after their first job experience. Yeah, so we really don't have any troubles with this maximum age because mostly they are, yeah, like maximum 24, I would say, what we have.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So I suppose we just got a question in from Cher who's asking about if there is a student who's over 30 or 40. So I think your answers there kind of guided that in that it's unlikely the family would match with those students. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I think that's too old. It's not, it'd be it's extremely it would be extremely difficult to place somebody that age,
Okay.
unfortunately. But they do have the opportunity to come and do a language course. Um, it's that would be another option for them. But the demi-pair program, I think, would be quite difficult.
That's fine. So another quick question from Monica with regards to special dietary requirements and allergies. Is there any supplements for that?
To now, there hasn't been, and I guess we've taken over Living English in December of last year. The 2025 pricing strategy was already put together. I will be looking at that for the next sales season, but I just need to check a few things with my families. At this moment, there's no extra cost requested by families to cover that. But I will be reviewing that this year for 2026.
Lovely. So Mael has another question with regards to families. Are they happy with French speakers that do not and therefore don't need a high level to start with? So Mael may be thinking that some of the French speakers don't have as high a level of English.
Well, the beauty of this program is that it's not new to a lot of our families, and so they're very used to having international students coming over participating in the program. And they have a very good understanding that our candidates, would have studied English in the past, may not have had the opportunity to be fully immersed in an English-speaking country in the past, and understand that it'll take a couple of weeks for them to get immersed into the family household, into the classes, all of that. And they do give them a chance. And that's quite important. I mean, we do say a minimum of B1 intermediate level English, and that's what's expected by our applications when you're sending in your application. And saying that it can take anybody, like even when I go to France or to Spain or Italy, it takes a couple of weeks or a couple of, takes time to fully immerse yourself in the language again, and families understand that. And French clients, we've had so many wonderful French clients that have come up in leaps and bounds within a few weeks. It's the same for the Italians and for Spanish as well. Like once they're here, they're in school, in classes, they're communicating in English every single day. They're absorbing the language all around them. They're listening to it on the streets and shops, everything like that. All of that really, really helps with them with improving their language. So I don't think that's not an issue at all.
Lovely. So I have a couple of questions that are slightly related, one from Eleanor and one from Idoia, actually, just with regards to the level of English, but also connected to if we accept onshore applications. So Idoia is asking about if they don't have a B1 level, can they do an ATC course for a certain amount of weeks till they reach B1 and then apply for the Demi-pair program from Ireland? And Elena was asking if the program is available for students already onshore.
Yes, so Idoia, that is a perfect solution that we have considered and that Living English also offers. It's called a soft landings program. I have more information about that and I can forward it, but it's a 4-week intensive program for those candidates, exactly what you said, that may not be at B1 right now, but need to get to there. And within 4 weeks, or maybe a little bit longer, but yes, they can book a course with ATC. So they can do the course at ATC, they can book host family accommodation with ATC, and then once they're at the level, then they can apply to be an applicant. Now, we can look at the application, like if they're just almost there, we can start processing the application knowing that they're going to be doing this 4-week intensive course because of the application's processing time that takes time. But certainly that is something that's worthwhile to look at and that we can do. And then to answer the other question about for applicants who are already on shore in Ireland, can they apply? Yes, of course, they can apply. We don't take direct bookings. They do need to go back through their agency. So if you're a new agency or if you're an agency that's just discovering this program for the first time, we can assist you with that process. But the customer does need to book through an agency. And we can refer them to agencies, or we ask them, first of all, can they go back to their own agency? And then they let us know if their agency does the program or not. And if they don't, we can give an introduction to the agency on how it works, or we can recommend other agencies to them that work with us already and are very, very familiar with the applications.
Lovely, thank you. I know it is just on the hour, so thank you very much for everyone that has attended, and I can see a couple of people are just saying that they have to head off. We do have a couple more questions if you're still available. Just a couple more questions, and what we will do is as well, we will send the slides out afterwards, and Aoife will be happy to answer any questions either email or phone or WhatsApp, as she was saying earlier. So a couple of questions just with regards to the pricing is from Rosanna and from Maria Louisa with regards to a summer supplement. How much is it? And if they need to pay a deposit, at what point the payment is required, I suppose, as well would be useful.
All right, the summer supplement is €30 per week for the 10-hour program in either Dublin or Bray, and then €40 per week for the 20-hour program in either Dublin or Bray. The deposit is €150. Now, what I do is I put the onus of responsibility on the agency to get the deposit. And then if you send proof of that, that's fine. I don't expect the agency to pay the deposit at the time of booking, but I do expect that the agency has received a deposit from their client and that the client that they're putting at the time of booking to Living English is a suitable candidate that has their full application in English with all of the documents ready so that I can start processing that particular booking. Then final payment is due 28 days before arrival. And in majority of cases, we just issue the net invoice to the agency and the agency pays the net amount. Some situations, agents ask us to issue a net and gross invoice, and the client may pay the gross amount and then they issue us a commission statement. So we can do either way. Preferably, the net invoices are much easier for our account system.
Lovely. So I think just one final question from Takahashi with regards to Japanese students and demi-pairs. So the overseas insurance would apply. So the insurance with regards to, I suppose, following on from the European health insurance card. With regards to the visa, I think we mentioned about that as well. So it would be, the visa would be determined by the course as well, with regards to the duration of the student staying in Ireland and the course and the number of hours. And then, can a student apply with their working holiday visa? Do you have information on that, or should we have a look into that, Aoife?
Well, that's something that we can look into, because we haven't had any Japanese applicants yet, but we're delighted to welcome them. So I can't see why we couldn't arrange it through the working holiday visa. I understand the working holiday visa, that it has to be a minimum of 15 hours. We have the 10-hour and the 20-hour options in the morning time. There is a 15-hour option at HEC Dublin in the afternoons. And then, like Louise said, we can look at everything case by case going forward. So that's something, Takahashi, that we can certainly look into for you, and I'll come back to you on that.
I think from some countries as well, like Japan, there is a different working holiday visa as well. So we can have a look into that. So there's the study and work visa that Ireland offers for non-EU students, which is the 25 weeks. And then there's also the working holiday visa that Japanese, Korean, and we'll have a look into who that applies to and what that applies to, because they would apply and obtain that visa before they leave their own country. We'll clarify that for you, don't worry, and get back in touch with you. So that's actually all the questions. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us this morning from all around the world. So if you have any colleagues that you think it would be useful for, we do actually have another webinar session this afternoon. I suppose that's Ireland's this afternoon. It's 3 p.m. Irish time. Is that right, Aoife?
Yeah, that's right.
Marvelous. So if there's anybody, like I say, any colleagues or anyone that wants to join us at 3 p.m. Irish time, there is another one this afternoon, just for people in different parts of the world. Thank you so much to everybody that's joining us. Thank you so much, Felicitas from Experiment, for joining us and providing a bit of advice today as well. Super useful.
Yeah, and I would like to thank you for inviting me, and to say to all agencies that are considering and taking to program this Demi-pair program, that it's a beautiful program. It's very individual, that I would like to send this message to you. So it's not off the pack, I think you say in English. So it needs a lot of communication with the demi-pairs and between the demi-pairs and the family, because it's these two that are the core of the program, the heart of the program. So you do need time to settle everything in for each participant, but it's absolutely beautiful, this program. We have great experience with it. And I think it's also very important because you get a very, very special insight of a culture, and that is what everyone is interested in. To explore how people are living in Ireland, for example, or even in Europe if you're coming from far away. And what did I want to say? And at least in Germany, we're all looking for teachers in kindergartens or in schools, and for carers. And I think it's an important first step for everyone who is considering and studying social work or to become a teacher. And so it's even an important program for our youth and for the world, maybe. So enjoy this program. And if you have any questions, you're very welcome to reach out to me for any recommendation. I'm very happy to help and assist. And if I have fun with this program, and I'm happy to work with you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Felicitas. It's fantastic to have you here, and thank you for being an excellent partner of ours and for all of your help and assistance. And it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Thanks to all of the agents who attended. Thank you. Special thanks to Louise and to Nadine for assisting with the presentation today and with the setup. And thank you again, Louise, for helping with all of the question and answers is there as well. Thanks a million. So looking forward to being in touch with everybody and looking forward to welcoming your demi-pairs. Oh, I saw one question from Idoia there as well about how often do we meet the demi-pairs. So generally in Dublin, between Dublin and Bray, we meet them once to twice a month. So at least once a month in both locations, maybe 2 occasions. And we have a WhatsApp group with our Demi-pairs. I send a WhatsApp invitation to come for tea, ask them what type of tea do they like, black tea, green tea, lemon and ginger tea, or coffee, and just checking for allergies. And then we sit down together for about 40 to 45 minutes. And it's a really, really nice thing to do personally for me, and the Demi-pairs like it as well. It's just good to touch base with them. And then I'm also available every day, Monday to Thursday, on my WhatsApp Demi-pair WhatsApp group, and everybody, all of my Demi-pairs have my number. If they have any issues, we can always, arrange a meeting with the academic staff or social student activity coordinator, or whatever questions they have. We have fantastic support from ATC Language Schools extended teams in both Dublin and Bray, and so that's really, really beneficial to the students to have that support and assistance, and to me as well. We will send the slides later. We'll send a copy of the recorded presentation with the slides, and with another document, our frequently asked questions document that contains a number of questions we've already prepared, and then some of those from today as well. So hope you all have a lovely day, and we'll be in touch. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.